Schlossberg, Managing Director at BK Asset Management.
BK Asset Management's Kathy Lean.
Hello. Good morning, everyone. This is Kathy. Good morning. If you can hear my voice and see me, say hello, say good morning, give me a thumbs up. Good morning, Andrew. Good morning, Tony. Good morning, Amir and Tom and another mutant. Great. I am so glad that everything is working this morning. And welcome everyone to our Monday Market Buzz, where we talk about what's going on in the market. We talk about the data to watch. We talk about the price action. We talk about the opportunities. And we just talk about, what to anticipate for the week. So good morning, everyone. Now, before I begin, I always like to get a sense of, who's new in the room so that I can look forward, pay particular attention to your questions to make sure that, you are following along. If you're new, let me know that you are brand new, and I'll make sure I give you a little extra love this morning. So, generally speaking, we talk about, what could affect currencies, what could affect stocks, what could affect gold. And then in our Monday live stream, we roll right into live trading with Boris, trading NASDAQ, trading gold. So it's going to be a pretty lively session. Hopefully we'll get some action in the markets because it has been, relatively quiet trade. Welcome, Shakel. Shakel is brand new. We want to give you a very, very warm welcome. And, this is probably my favorite live stream of the week because, we really go through, a deep dive into what to expect. Welcome, Mari, to our BK community. It's good to meet you as well. And we will talk about stocks. We will talk about, what's been driving, so what drove stocks to record highs on Friday and whether this move could last this week. So that is something we are going to be talking about as well. All right, so it seems like, we've got a couple of new people joining us, but let's go ahead and talk markets. So let me start by saying that, last week we had, the big thing that we're waiting for was Fed Chairman Powell's press conference on Friday. And as I expected, he was going to set the stage for an interest rate cut in September. And that's exactly what he did. He's laid the groundwork, prepared the markets for easing, because as a central bank head, they want as minimal volatility as possible when they make these interest rate changes. They don't want huge spikes in the markets. Their job is to keep, not only the economy on track, but to keep, the markets from going haywire. And in order to do that, one of the ways that they do that is to provide guidance. Let the market know what they plan to do in advance so that when they actually do it, there'll be less of, a move. And this is important this time around because this is the very, very first interest rate. It would be the very first interest rate cut by the Federal Reserve this year. I know it's been, it feels like it's been a lifetime this year. Many central banks have already cut interest rates. It's almost hard to believe that the Fed won't be cutting in. The Fed has not cut interest rates at all this year. And so this would be the very first interest rate cut in 2025. And this interest rate cut, given that it's, at a time when they're just beginning one of many at a time when other central banks are winding down, should normally create pretty big movements in the markets, like stocks soaring, dollar crashing. And so the Fed doesn't want all that to happen on interest rate day. So they want kind of the market to ease into it so that when they have interest rate day, they make their cut, that they have less of a reaction to have to, kind of weave around. So that is very, very important. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you my screen, and we're going to talk a little bit about what is priced into the market. So just give me 1 second to do that. I'm going to share with you my screen, and here we go. Now, how many interest rate cuts? Before we begin, I want you to guess how many interest rate cuts do you think the Federal Reserve is going to deliver this year? 1, 2, 3. Let's do a quick poll and see what you guys think in terms of how much the Fed will give us. Another mutant, I know that you're usually right on the ball with this. Let's hear from you. What do you think the Federal Reserve is going to give us in terms of interest rate cuts? 2, 3 from Alvin. Another mutant says 2 to 3. 2, 2, 2 to 3, 2, 3, 1. Okay, 1 from Goriola. All right. Most of you say, ooh, Andy thinks we're going to get 4. That's a lot, right? Because that would be 1 in September. And, how many? I think we have 3 more interest rate meetings before the end of the year. So Federal Reserve calendar. We have September. The reason why, part of the reason why the Fed is expected to move in September is because September is one of those meetings. You get this little star. Anyone know what the star means on the Federal Reserve calendar? Anybody have an idea what the star means? So while I wait for your answer, there are 3 more interest rate meetings this year, which means that if they were to do 4, one of these would have to be a 50 basis point cut, which I think would be a huge move. What does the star mean? Koba says maybe a dot plot. Rates are at every single meeting. The rates are up for contention. Okay, so what these stars mean, and you see a star there for September, and you see a star there for December, and there's a star for March and a star for June. So that's a big meeting, okay? The reason why it's a big meeting is because that's when, they put their Federal Reserve minions to work, and they have them crunch out the latest economic projections and the dot plot. So they tell us, they do their homework, they crunch out, and they decide, they basically run the numbers to provide us with their projections for the GDP, for inflation, and the unemployment rate. So that's when it's more than just a guess based upon the latest data. They run the models, crunch their numbers, provide us with the latest economic projections. And the stars is also when the dot plot is released. So the dot plot basically, how many of you don't know what the dot plot is? If you don't know, give me a question mark so I can explain it. Otherwise, I'm going to assume that you know what the dot plot is. So these are the meetings when the dot plot is going to be updated. So that's when those are really the hot meetings. And that's why the first interest rate cut is expected in September. Okay, some of you don't know what the dot plot is, which is wonderful. It really gives me an opportunity to explain this. So the last dot plot we had was in June. So we are going to click on, I think it's going to be here. Let's see if we can find the dot plot here. If not, we'll just Google it. Yeah, I'm going to Google the dot plot. So June, Fed June dot plot. The dot plot is basically the time when all of the central bank officials, I'm just going to do images because that will probably be where it's at. Here we go. This is what you want to look at. How to open the image in a new tab. Okay, so this is the dot plot. And you can see that the June dot plot sees mid 3% Fed funds rate. So how do we read this? So come, Fed meeting day on September 17, we're going to get a table that looks like this. So what this table is that every single Federal Reserve official, a president, regardless of whether he or she is a voting member at the time, gets to kind of cast their vote in the dot plot. They get to share where they think interest rates are going to go in the next 2 years. So the dot plot shows you what the balance of interest rates is. So, it tells you whether there's going to be a 50 basis point. And so what you want to look for is where all of the dot plots are. So at the time of the last, I don't know if this is the most accurate. Let's see. June 2025. Let's see. June 2025 dot plot. I want to find, okay, I think this is, yes, here it is. So June 2025 dot plot sees, where is this? I want to open this image in new tab. Okay, here we go. So right now, if you do Fed Fund Futures, you will see that right now, I'll show you how we look at this in a minute. The market interest rates are 4.25% and 4.5%. So if we go to the dot plot, you will see that in 2025, they expect interest rates, most of the dots, the majority of the dots are between 3.75 to 4%. So that means the market in June was pricing in 2 interest rate cuts this year. So that was a long time ago, right? And we've had a lot more data since then. And they expect in 2026 that rates will be somewhere that you have to look where most of the rates are. They'll be at least at 3.75%, probably more between 3.5% to 3.25%. So they're expecting more and more interest rate cuts in 2025, 2026, 2027. So in September, this will be released again. If these dots start to move down and we see more of these dots go to this 3.5 area, then it's going to be very, very bearish for the dollar. If more stay at where they are, then it's going to be positive for the dollar. And then the question is, do more drop between this level where we have no dots right now or this level? Now, of course, I'll be talking to you about all of them about all of this when we actually have the FOMC meeting. But this is what is being released in September. So that's very, very important. Now, the question is, what is priced into the market? Because while what we think is important and what the Fed says is important, what's even more important is what is priced in. What is the sentiment in the markets right now? So the sentiment in the markets is right now, interest rates are 4.25%, 4.5%. And in order to get here, I just typed in CME Fed Fund Futures. So right now we're in September. The market is pricing in a 83% chance that interest rates are going to drop 25 basis points, that we're going to have one interest rate cut in September. There's no pricing in of 2 interest rate cuts in September. And this is about where it was about a week ago, significantly higher chance than a month ago. The market has been pretty much pricing in a September interest rate cut for some time. Now let's jump to December. Okay, interest rates are at 4.25%, 4.5% right now. It's an important thing to pay attention to. So the market is pricing in pretty much a 98.3% chance that we're going to have one interest rate cut. All right, there's only a 1.7% chance that we won't have anything. The market is pricing in that 98.3% chance of one interest rate cut. And basically an 85% chance of 2 interest rate cuts. So that's pretty high. So an 85% chance that we're going to have one move in September and at least one more move in December. And a small 30, which is not that small, I would say, 34% chance of 3 interest rate cuts. So that's not that small. This could change significantly. As you see, these numbers have been changing all around. Let's see if any of this is priced in for October. So for October, look at this. The market is pretty much pricing in one interest rate cut. And then think that the other interest rate cut has a 43% chance of happening in October, which means that the market is pretty dovish. They've got at least minimum 2 interest rate cuts priced in for 2025. And they're kind of thinking that the Fed could deliver one more interest rate cut. So what does this mean for us as traders? Now, this is very, very important for you to understand, which is why I'm going to ask you this question. If the Fed cuts interest rates and they cut big, is that positive or negative for stocks? I want you to say up for stocks or down for stocks in the comments, because it's very, very important concept to understand. Amir thinks it's positive, but not convinced. He's got a question mark. Glad to be here. Says up. Mackie says up. Tony says up. Cuts are good for stocks because it eats credit. And we've been talking about this week after week. So some of you already gotten it. Some of you are new and you haven't gotten it yet. But interest rate cuts are good for stocks. It is the reason why stocks hit record highs on Friday. Because, interest rate cuts lower the cost of borrowing and financing for businesses and consumers, and it just it leaves more money in the pocketbooks of consumers and businesses. So it is almost always seen as good for stocks, especially if it's not just about the move that matters, it's about the signal about how much more could come. So if the signal is that if in September the Fed cuts interest rates 25 basis points, which is what we all expect, and then suggests that they're going to have to ramp things up, then that could keep stocks moving upwards, because the more interest rates they cut, or the bigger the interest rate cut, the better it is for stocks. It is single-handedly the number one thing that is driving stocks higher, because it's certainly not the US economy, right? Because the data has been weak, and that's what's been justifying the Fed moving to cut interest rates. But it is the prospect of what interest rate cuts will do for businesses and consumers. Now, here's another question. We're going to do this 3 times. What interest rate cuts mean for stocks? Now, let's talk about what interest rate cuts mean for the US dollar. Do you think that a bigger interest rate cut, or interest rate cuts in general, is that up for dollar or down for dollar? Take a wild guess. And then I'm going to ask you the same question for gold, so that you all understand what this means. We saw on Friday how the interest rate cut coming is so good for stocks. So I'm explaining to you why. Now, all of you are so smart, giving me all the right answers. Interest rate cut is bad for the dollar. And look at this. This is dollar yen. So interest rate cuts are bad for the dollar. And so we did see quite a bit of sell-off in the dollar on Friday. The reason why interest rate cuts are bad for the dollar is because it reduces the yield, the interest rate that the US provides. So, a lot of these big money players like hedge funds, institutionals, they move money from one part of the world to another in seek of the highest interest rates. But not just the highest interest rates, but where interest rates are headed in the future. So you've got some central banks like the ECB, European Central Bank, the Bank of Canada, who are winding down their interest rate cycles. And then you got the Fed, who is just getting started. So you can understand why the dollar sold off against the yen, and in my opinion, has much more room to go. And what I love about this chart here is that it doesn't look like the ES chart, where we're basically at the upper right-hand corner. It's kind of like, how much further can we go? With dollar yen, we're just in the middle of the chart. So even on a technical basis, we've got plenty of room to fall. And so I definitely think that the dollar has more room to fall. We're probably going to see dollar yen at the 143.50, 143 level. Now, are interest rate cuts good or bad for gold? Give me your answers. Some of you are answering already. Amir says gold up. Glad to be here, says gold negative. Well, I'm not sure if saying gold negative correlates with dollars. Fall of dollar positive for gold, says Andrew. All right, let's look at this. What did gold do? On Friday, gold rallied. And just as some of you who have attended my Monday live streams every single week, that in general, interest rate cuts is initially positive for gold, because it means, first of all, there must be some trouble in the US economy. And therefore, people perhaps need to flee to safety into something else like gold or euro, which is the second biggest reserve currency. Or, and that gold is priced in US dollars. So if the US dollar is falling because the Fed is easing interest rates more aggressively than expected, it should be good for gold. So now you guys have a little bit of a framework as we head into the September FOMC meeting. It's not just going to be about that 25 basis point rate cut that they're going to give us. It's about how much more they tell us is going to come. If they're kind of wishy-washy, then, the market is going to be skeptical about how much more they're going to do, and that some of the moves we've seen will be unwound. If they stay committed and they give us a stronger signal that more interest rates are coming, then all these moves that we saw on Friday is going to have continuation. So that is the most important thing to remember. Now, there's quite a few weeks. The next Federal Reserve meeting is not until September 17. So we have, 3 weeks until this Federal Reserve meeting. But that doesn't mean that's 3 weeks of dull quietness, because the next most important event is going to be not this Friday, but next Friday's non-farm payrolls report. Remember, the last non-farm payrolls report was terrible. And so the next one is supposed to be just as bad. And so if that one next Friday comes out just as bad, then we could have some really, really big moves and set up for the September meeting. And don't forget, I'm telling you this now, we're going to all be live trading this with you next Friday. So make sure you join us for that. Now, tomorrow, we actually have a really, really incredible live session tomorrow night. And Boris, if you don't mind grabbing the link, we have an incredible live session tomorrow night. It's going to be, I'm going to show you this on, my X. I'm going to talk about how I use fundamentals, macro to trade, how I use macro to trade. You're going to get four market legends, one unmissable night. We have Peter Tuchman. Where's my little picture of all of us? Peter Tuchman, who's been working on the New York Stock Exchange floor for 40 years. He's known as the Einstein of Wall Street. We have David Green. I got to find my card here, but David Green, who retired. He's a former market maker. He retired in his 30s, and he's going to talk about how he did that. Boris Schlotzberg, myself, talking about how we trade, how we turn these fundamentals, for me, how I turn fundamentals into trades. It's completely free. So make sure you join us. It's tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Make sure you register because, we're going to be streaming not, on X. We're going to be streaming on this link here. So make sure that you join us there.
We got more than 2,000 people registered already. So please come on in, reserve your spot. It's really going to be a great webinar. Even if you can't attend, just by registering, you're going to be able to watch it on demand because we are going to tape it and we're going to be able to send out, but only to those people that register. So make sure you register, get your friends to register. Really going to be a very cool session.
I'm wondering if you're asking, is Peter really that small? Well, Boris is quite tall. And so I think Peter and I don't know if I have a video up here of Peter and I are probably, we're pretty much the same height. So I think it's more that Boris is tall rather than, he is probably shorter for a man, but he's older. I hear that people shrink when they get older.
Peter will bury all of you into the ground with his energy. The man is, I don't even know how old he is, but he is just a bundle of energy. It's not the dog. It's not the dog in the fight. It's the fight in the dog. He is a very, very tenacious guy. Really, really a lot of fun.
Yeah, he's incredible. We learned a lot from him on the floor, and I know that you will too. All right, so let's get to the heat map. All right, where do we register? Boris, this is the link. This is the link to register. You can also go on my X feed right on top at Kathy Lean FX. Right here, the first post that I've pinned. We've got you the link to register there as well. All right, so let's look at this fundamental heat map. Let's go through the calendar. Let's go through the charts, and then we'll move over to live trading with Boris. So I'm setting the stage to tell you that I am going to be dollar bearish this week. Now, we don't have much in the way of U.S. data this week. This is also the last holiday week or last week of summer for everyone in Europe. In the U.S., it's the last week of summer. Monday is a holiday in the U.S. and Canada. So pretty much trading grinds to halt by Friday morning as soon as the 8:30 data is released. So a lot of traders are off this week. And that, that is one of the reasons why stock futures have pulled back today, why stocks are lower after Friday's record-breaking move. There's been no news to justify that other than traders just squaring up. It's also the reason why the dollar is rebounding, because no news is kind of good news for the dollar. But in general, I will be a seller on dips because not only do you have the data weakening, but the Fed has set the stage for an interest rate cut. And so I think the dollar will drip lower throughout the course of this week, and that rallies, I will be selling rallies. I'll be buying dips on the euro because we did, not only is the euro moving on what's going on with the US dollar, but we are also seeing good data. We continue to see good data. We had good German IFO report this morning. We had good Eurozone PMIs last week. Now, we have a confidence on Thursday, which should be good as well, because all the sentiment indicators have been good. It's only on Friday where we might have German retail sales and labor market numbers that won't be so good. But front of the week, I think that I'm going to be looking for opportunities to buy euros. Sterling didn't have such great data, even though the Bank of England was kind of a close call for their interest rate cut. So UK hasn't reported great data, so I think we're going to continue to see the sterling underperform the euro. Australia, we have tonight the Reserve Bank of Australia minutes, and then tomorrow we have the monthly inflation report. And so I'm neutral that because the RBA, they suggested that they cut interest rates, suggested that they could continue to cut interest rates. But there's a good chance that the inflation data could be stronger as well. So we're just going to leave that as neutral and respond to whatever opportunities there are. I'm bullish CAD. And for those of you that are BK members, you can read the details. We had a terrible CAD jobs report, but inflation was only slightly weaker. IV PMI and retail sales was stronger. Bank of Canada is at the end of their easing cycle. So I think that we could see a little bit of a relief rally in CAD. Kiwi, I'm bearish. RBNZ cut interest rates last week, and they signaled very strongly that more is to come. Now, we did have retail sales data this last night. Those was better, but overall, I think Kiwi is going to be bearish. Still bearish Swiss francs because Switzerland has those harsh tariffs that have not been able to negotiate lower. And the SNB is dovish. They cut interest rates. Interest rates are 0, and I think that more is to come. And then yen, I am bullish the Japanese yen because the Bank of England is expected. The Bank of Japan is expected to still possibly raise interest rates this year. Even if they don't, it's still, they are different from everyone else. Everyone else is easing. They are not easing and possibly tightening. And so I think the yen will continue to remain positive. Ben Gettina says it's not working. Just go on X, Kathy Lean FX. If you click on this link, you'll see that it goes straight to the registration page. I gave him a direct link. But I'm showing them how to do this, how it works. So just put in your first name, last name, email address, country, and then just register. So if I do Kathy Lean, and don't email me at this email address because I never check it. It's my spam. I live in the United States, register, and that's it. Add to your calendar if you want it, but it will send you an email confirmation. It is as simple as that. So make sure you go ahead and do that. All right. So we talked about the heat map. Let's look at the calendar for this week. So as I said, we had New Zealand retail sales numbers. They came in pretty strong. We had the German IFO report, which also came out pretty strong. Canadian profits are lower. Later on this morning, we have new home sales, but this week is really about Fed speak. It won't be until Friday when we have some more meaningful data. We do have some inflation data from Japan, durable goods orders tomorrow. The one that I'm really interested in is in consumer confidence and whether that dips lower on the back of the weaker jobs report, and I think it will. So that could cause the dollar to resume its slide. Richmond Fed Index, not really that market moving. Governor Macklem's speech, Bank of Canada governor, definitely worth listening to see whether he reinforces that the Bank of Canada is done. We have the monthly inflation data, huge jump expected for Australia. It's so big it may not happen. It may be 2.1, and that could be a bit of a disappointment. Wednesday, we only have German GfK confidence, but nothing really going on. US doesn't have anything. So Wednesday is going to be a very, very quiet day for data. But quiet days are not bad days because sometimes quiet days give us really clean relative value plays. On Thursday, we have GDP from the US, but this is the second release. So we're just looking for revisions. Revisions could happen. The market thinks we get an upward revision to GDP. Swiss GDP is also expected, and so that could be very market moving for the Swiss franc. But the US GDP, the revision, so we'll have to see whether or not they happen. But jobless claims, which spiked last week, is going to be very market moving. These days it's very, very market moving. And then on Thursday, we have the Tokyo CPI. Tokyo CPI is quite important because it's a leading indicator for the national index. So definitely keep an eye out for that because that is expected to be lower. And if it's lower, then it could be more negative than positive for the yen. And then on Friday is when we have the most important data, in my opinion. We have German retail sales numbers. which are expected to be weaker. We have German labor market numbers, which are expected to be weaker. We have the KOF. This is their pretty much their version of the IFO, German IFO. That is expected to be very, very weak. And then from the US, we have personal income, personal spending, and the PCE deflator, which is very, very important. And then we also have CAD GDP. So Friday is the big day data-wise. It's when we get all of the interesting information. But aside from that, it's going to be a relatively quiet week for US data, with dollar weakness, in my opinion, dominating. So taking a look at the charts, starting off with Eurodollar, you can see that Eurodollar is in the upper right-hand corner above all of the major moving averages. I'm still bullish data-wise, US dollar sentiment-wise. I still think, when it was down here, I was talking about how Euro is going to go 117, 118. I still think it's going to go 118, 118.50, and maybe even hit 119. Certainly not this week, but possibly after the non-farm payrolls report next week. Dollar yen, I love because there's more room to the downside. Now, today it's rebounding. I personally don't trade Sunday, Mondays because of these retraces for no reason. And so while the dollar outlook is very bearish, I am going to wait, and my first trade will come out tonight, and I'll be looking for opportunities to sell dollars. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine that with my zip, make sure it's in the zip sell zone. And hopefully, right now it's still in the zip sell zone, meaning that the background's red, it's below the indicator line. But I'm going to be looking for it to, start to move lower and then, sell into it. But I'm still bearish dollars. We are, right now it's just kind of range trading on the daily chart, but I'd be looking to sell dollars on rallies. Dollar CAD is looking weaker than dollar yen. We've got some support right at the 138 level, 137.50. So we do have some moving average support, which I don't love selling into, but we'll look for the opportunity. I'm going to look for setups tonight to see if we have opportunities to sell dollar CAD. Dollar Swiss, I'm bearish dollars, I'm bearish Swiss francs. But dollar Swiss, moves almost entirely on dollar, how the market feels about the dollar. So we're still below all of the major moving averages. It's still looking quite bearish. If we look at my zip chart, we are also in the sell zone, background red below the indicator line. And so I think this has also got nice room to fall down to 79 even. Pound dollar, also above all the major moving averages, but I don't trade pounds because the volatility is too high. But I think it's going to underperform. Aussie we're neutral Aussies. It's up today. It's one of the few currencies that is up. High beta currencies are up against the dollar. So range trading zone here, resistance over here. We'll have to see how it trades, but I'm going to look for it. We'll see if the RBA minutes fare tonight. I'm bearish Kiwi, but we're pretty close to the lower right-hand corner of the chart. I like to sell around the 59 region for Kiwi dollar. So that's the level I'm going to be watching. All right. So that's my fundamental and technical outlook. We can look at Aussie yen, certainly. Boris is, going to be live trading with you guys real soon. Aussie yen is being supported by how dollar yen is up today. Aussie's up today. Right now we've got some resistance at 96 cents on the daily chart. 4-hour chart, we also are coming up against some significant resistance, but it does look like to me, if nothing happens today, we just get a little bit of a continued relief rally, we could get another 30 pips higher in Aussie yen before we come to serious resistance level at 96.20. All right, any other questions? Don't forget, for those of you that, want to learn how I use fundamentals to trade, come tomorrow night, register inside the trading floor. All 4 of us have traded for either on the trading floor for banks or on the New York Stock Exchange floor for themselves. So make sure, this is a unprecedented event. Make sure you register for this free event happening tomorrow night. As for gold, I'm going to weave this into Boris. I'm going to let him talk about gold. And I have a question. Do you usually trade if there are rumors before any major news releases? Yes, I just don't trade ahead of big news releases. Any other questions? All right. If not, guys, I will pass it over to Boris, who will live trade NASDAQ and gold with you. I do not use fibs, but I always like to provide people with a good basis. The more support and resistance that you can find using your indicators, fibs, pivot points, Elliott wave, whatever it is, the better and more important in many ways that support level is. So I do think it's very, very valuable. All right, guys, fire away. I'm also going to drop to you my latest YouTube video. It's, I put a lot of work into it. It's all about how to use volume to trade, and 7 different, ways, very, very valuable, along with the strategy. So make sure that you watch that video, because I put a lot of work into it and I think it's incredible. Where can we find interest rate expectations for the markets? For this Fed, you just type in, just Google CME Fed Fund Futures, and you'll get the Fed ones. All right. Am I skipping next week, or I'm moving it to Tuesday? I think I'm going to move the live stream to Tuesday because it's such a big week. I want to do it live. So we're going to move our live stream next week to Tuesday. All right. Thank you so much. Boris is itching to get into the markets with you. So let him fire away.
Hi, guys. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I did a lot of work this weekend, so I have a lot of interesting teaching aids to help you guys teach you how we do scalping today. Let me just organize myself. Let me organize my structure here. Just one sec. I want to do still 80% off on Apex. So don't forget that. Let me get this over here. Where's my Boris view? There we go. Still 80% on Apex. So don't forget that. Very, very important. That's going to go away very soon. So make sure you nail some Apex accounts as we start trading. Let me just give me a sec. I want to pull up these. I made these really cool slides, which I'm going to be able to let you tomorrow. I'll be able to, you guys can register and get those slides for me. So let me just do this, for example. Here we go, rules. And then I want to do one more. Just bear with me a sec here. Image file, examples. Okay, so I finally got the rules down for everybody to follow because there's so many new people here. By the way, who's new in the room today? Say hello to me. Let me know if you've ever traded futures, if you've ever traded stock indices. Tell me where you're from. I want to hear from you guys. Let me know. Let me know, because so much of the stuff that we do here is geared towards trading futures, towards trading prop, towards passing prop accounts, which is all super cool. Hi, Julian. How are you? Nice to see you. Where are you from, Julian? Everybody else, come tell me where you guys are from. Another mutant has only done FX. Oh, another mutant. We're gonna turn you to the dark side, my friend. Once we get you into futures, you're never gonna go back. No, Sandy says no love for the old folks. No, I take you for granted. It's like a relationship. I know you guys are gonna be there, so I take you for granted. That's how it works, Sandy. Now, Sandy is actually a great guy. He's passed multiple prop accounts. He's actually a monster trader. So good for him. Hey, Florida, very, very nice. Very nice. We're in Florida, my friend. Are you in South Florida? Let me know. Half my family lives there, so very familiar with the state. We love Florida. Let me see. Are you guys seeing the screen here? I am showing you literally the 2 types of setups that show up on our screen. So first and foremost, understand that this indicator is completely proprietary. You can't even find it on TradingView because it's a private indicator. It's only available for anybody who trades coaching with me, which, by the way, here's the link to coaching if you guys want coaching with me. Really, really great deal if you want to get serious about learning. 6 months, and I buy you 3 free prop accounts as part of it. Also, Kay doesn't notice, but I've just roped her into it. All of the FX stuff is included inside this coaching deal. So it's a really, really good deal for everybody to get involved in. Anyways, the rules for the setup. On the buy side, right now, we actually have a buy setup happening as I'm talking right now. And we're going to take this trade if it completes as it is. We need 3 things for actually, I take it back. This is a buy setup, but it's not quite kosher the way it's in the rules. In the rules, I only give you trend-based setups, meaning that you need 3 things. You need the small trend to be above the big trend, so the trend is confirmed. You need the slope of the trend, the green line, to be green, meaning it's positive slope. And then you need a momentum breakout. We're having a momentum breakout, we're having positive slope, but the actual trade is actually negative. So we're going to just trade this on a small basis over here. We're in the trade. We're going to trade this with a 5 target 15 stop over here. This is not a kosher trade. It's like a quasi kosher trade, you know, like if you know anything about kosher laws, it's, you know, it's not pork, but it's definitely not clean meat either. Anyways, meaning that it's kind of okay, but not great. I'm just doing it, you know, just for shits and giggles with you guys right now on very, very small size here on the micro lot, just to kind of show you what is a buy trade, what is a sell trade. And I'm going to do a lot of these, what I call semi-legitimate trades with you during live trading, because in live trading, we want to show you the setups as they happen so that you can get a good feel and vibe as to understanding why, how, and what's going on. But in real life, which is what I'm going to talk about next, I'm going to show you how I trade, and it's going to blow your mind because I have really, really refined my approach to a level where I'm super, super confident and comfortable with the way I'm trading. And I think you guys are going to like it very much too. And it was actually a derivative of one of our coaching sessions last week with Dr. D, who's a trader of mine in our room, who gave me a really interesting insight in how he trades. And then I modified even what he did to, I think, a level that 90% of you are really going to love, because it eliminates huge amount of kind of dopamine-driven trading that I do with you during live trading. It's going to really ease you into proper trade structures. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing the chart. You're right, guys. I'm sorry. Hold on. Okay, here's the chart. Oh, sorry, and we got and we got done. We already got done on the trade. I'm sorry. I was showing you the rules, and I totally forgot that I didn't share. Here's what I did. I took this buy button over here. As you can see, took this one over here, and we made the target over here. But it's not a kosher trade. It wasn't totally a kosher trade. Sorry, guys. I was trying to be really, really, really good with my educational tools, and then I totally forgot that we missed the charts. Anyways, let's do charts, right? You want the educational tools? I'll show you tomorrow how to get both of these slides so you can really get the rules all organized. But honestly, there's no better way of learning than just by doing, right? We got 2 minutes to the open. We're not going to do much now, but we're going to actually rotate through everything. We're going to trade NASDAQ. We're going to trade gold, and we're going to trade the Dow today. And I'm going to show you how and why. And I think it's going to blow your mind, right? Oh, Ali is super close. Ali is $85 away. Funded on next win. All right. So Ali, I'm going to set you up for the next win. All right. Ali is another one of my traders. I'm going to set you up for the next win. I'm going to show you what I think is the best possible trade to give you the highest probability of success. All right. So everybody listen up, because these are the setups that I'm starting to do. So we'll use the Dow as an example. It doesn't freaking matter. We can actually use NASDAQ, because I did a lot of NASDAQ trades today. So I'll show you exactly what I do. So the absolute most perfect trade that you want to do, the one that's the highest probability of success, is the following. Let me just find it. Jesus Christ. It takes a while. So it's the following. The big trend, the small trend is underneath the big trend. Rule 1, right? This is a trend dominant trade. So we're in a downtrend move. You can see that the chart is showing you we're in a downtrend move, right? So step 1. Step 2, we need the slope to be red. The slope to be red, right? Slope is red. Step 3, we need either a Christmas tree trade. This is a Christmas tree trade where you have a purple to red, and that creates this little red banner. And the reverse of that is the white to green. That creates a green banner. We call it the Christmas tree trade because it's a Christmas tree colors, right? That's either that or a sell button. Either one of those is good enough. But the critical thing is Sandy, Sandy, email me. I thought I gave you the access to the indicator. Email me. The access. By the way, anybody who is in my coaching gets the access to this indicator. So just go ahead and get the coaching over here. Here's the link to the coaching, and I'll give you the access to the indicator. The critical thing to making the highest, best trade ever and doing it over and over again all day long is it's the first move on the switch. You see how we have a green move, then we have a red move. This move over here, this red move, is the only trade we take. We don't do anything else until we get a green shift and then a new red shift. So we're always looking for a shift change signal. That shift change signal basically spaces out all of your trades to a much, much lower frequency trade. It basically works out to about a trade every half an hour, sometimes a trade every hour. You got 23 hours. You have possibly 20 trades over a 24-hour cycle. 18 out of those 20 trades are going to be winners. Just go on the chart, prove me wrong. They're just massive winners. The key thing is you need to pace yourself to make it only the first trade of the cycle. That's the highest chance of success of that cycle. That's what kills. That's what wins all those trades. It also stops you from over trading like a mofo. You stop trading like a crazy man all the time. Like right now, we have a whole bunch of sell trades. Sell cycle in gold. Gold has turned green. If this thing right now it's minute 40. If this thing clears the 412 level and close above 412, that's going to give us a Christmas tree trade in gold to the opposite side. Now, is it perfect? No, because it's still negative trend. It's still downtrend, but I don't give a shit. I take them both up and down trend. I take trend, counter trend trades. If you really, really want to be high probability, you only take trend-based ideas. But regardless of how you do it, if you just simply space yourself out or pace yourself out and space yourself out, both of those things, you are going to be money every fucking day. Money, money, money. Because look at this. Sell side, first Christmas tree, first switch over here. You long at 77. 87 is a target. Boom, boom, boom. Wham, bam, you're done. You're done. It's just the easiest way to trade well. Let me know if it's clear to you guys. Those of you guys who are new, don't worry about it. Come hang out with us. It will become super clear in a day or two. You'll see me doing 1,000 of these trades. You really like them. Plus, if you really want it, tomorrow I'm going to set up a little form where you guys can register and just get all my rules in an email to you in a PDF, and that'll be making it a lot easier because you can use that as a check mark to do this. Anyways, we're open. Nothing much going on here. No signals. Nothing going on. We are not doing anything. Gold, I'm looking for a possible buy reversal if I ever get it. NASDAQ is a negative trend. Oh, NASDAQ has got a sell signal. Oh, let's do NASDAQ. NASDAQ, MNQ, sell. Am I in there? No, I missed it. Oh, no, I'm in it. Now I'm in it. Okay, I'm in the thing. It's a huge, huge, big candle. That's why I took a tiny little position here on NASDAQ. It's market open. I could be right on this idea, wrong on the execution, which is very well could possible because the volatility here is just massive. Yeah, it's gonna probably take me out. It's fine. It is what it is. The opening market trade is always the worst trade for me, but that's why I took a tiny little position. Yeah, I get stopped out. Fine, no big deal. The next signal, it's going to be a much better signal because this was huge sell-off. The rule of thumb is I should never take trades until 5 minutes has passed. Now watch this thing. This thing is going to go way the fuck down and totally hit our target after hitting our stop, which is just par for the course, always on the open. So it's fine. I always want to show you the trades. Okay, here we go. Gold, legit trade. 46 seconds left. Let's go to our gold setup. Here's my gold. Wait, hold on. Where's my gold? Here's gold. Gold setup, right? Right over here. 34 seconds left. Where's my gold? Here we go. 19 seconds left. This is a legit buy setup. I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for this candle to close. 12 seconds left. All right, I'll put it. Okay, I'm in at 11:15. Target is 8 ticks. Stop's going to be 32 ticks. Let's see if it works for us. So I'm on wealth charts right now, which is we have the indicator on wealth charts as well as on TradingView. So I'm just showing you both. This was a buy signal, just to show you over here. Oh no, it went away. It was not a buy signal. Fuck. All right, this is a bad trade. I'm sorry. I'm going to flatten out. I'm going to flatten out because it's not a good trade. It wasn't a signal. Sorry, I switched around and I didn't realize that the buy signal went away. Okay, fair enough. We'll wait till we get an actual buy signal on this. On NASDAQ, on the Dow right now, we've had a buy slice, and now possibly, if this thing goes red, it becomes a sell signal, and I'll be short the Dow. I'm trading, both sides of the thing. So yeah, dot did not hold, and I wasn't paying attention because I was too. That's why I blew out of it. And that's the other thing is if you don't have the setup, it doesn't matter where you're at. Just blow out of it. It's absolutely not worth praying and hoping that it's going to work. If it's going to work, it'll give you a signal later. I'm just cycling through all three trades right now to see what's going on. See, now NASDAQ right now, totally legitimate reversal signal, green signal. We're going to go to MNQ 2. I'm going to buy it, see if I can get in there. Where's my thing? Okay, I'm in. Whoa, what happened? Whoa, what happened? Oh, god damn it. I'm on the wrong side. I'm sorry. I'm really fucking up, guys. I'm sorry. I'm making too many. What's going on over here? I'm really fucking up here on a huge amount of trades. Why is this? All right, I blew out of all these positions on hopefully a better looking trade. Yeah, better looking, not bad. Sorry, guys, I got totally screwed up. This should have been a buy. This was a Christmas tree buy. For some reason, I made it a sell. Then I reversed it to do a buy, and that became a much longer buy. Anyways, the trade worked. It was super fast. Let's not worry about it. Let's move on to the next one. Gold. 49 seconds, legit buy here. If this dot holds, we're going to watch this. The dot holds, we're going to come back into gold. Like I said, if the signal holds, then it's a legit trade. I'm watching this right now. $24 seconds left on gold. Trying to get into the trade. See if I get myself filled. Nope. Can I get myself filled? Come on. I'm in at 12. 13.4 is the target. 32 is the exit. $12.6, yeah, $12.5. It's fine. So to review, what am I doing here? This is not a perfect, but a good enough trade for us. It's against trend. The trend is downtrend, and we're long. So in that sense, you don't have the absolute perfect trade. But it's a switch from a sell condition to a buy condition. It's the first buy signal in the buy condition. It completes all the things we're looking for. A positive slope, positive dot, big burst candle. Now we're just looking for the target to hit, which in this case is going to be 13.2 for us. We're a little bit, we came off a little bit off the edge on the trade, but let's hopefully see if that works out. Now let's take a look at the Dow. Dow's got no signal. Dow is still pretty much in a buy mode. NASDAQ doesn't know what it's doing. Choppy. This is like our Monday chop, basically our Monday chop, right? Not a lot going on here. All right, back to gold. We're watching gold. I think Starlink would work really well. I don't have any experience with it, but it's more than enough for, like, remember, most of this stuff is not a very, very, it's not like you're streaming video. Streaming prices is very, very fast. From the exchange for what you need. You're not competing against sub seconds. We're sitting here for 2-3 minutes in a trade, so you have more than enough time. Like, I think Starlink would really work well. All right, who's new, guys? Tell me if you've ever traded futures. The crack cocaine of the financial world. Gold jumping around. I'm just looking to see what else is on the on Twitter and on my other screen, if there's anything else going on over here. We're gonna do, those of you guys who are new, every Wednesday we do Marathon Wednesday, where I trade from like 8 in the morning till 11:30, 12 in the afternoon. Those are like the best sessions because you get to see lots and lots of trade positions, and you're going to see, I think with this new approach where I'm going to be doing a lot less trades. I know that's for those of you who are new, you might go, Jesus Christ, how many trades does he do when he's active? Yeah, sometimes we've done as many as 20 trades an hour, and I think it's too much. It's too much. I think it's too much for all sorts of reasons. It's too much for come on, move already. I'm looking at this fucking gold. It's just this is why I hate trading gold. Everybody knows I hate trading gold. I hate this fucking product. I only do it because you guys want to do it. But it is what it is. I'm gonna fucking flatten out of this thing. I don't care. I'm out of the trade for a profit, for a small profit, just because I don't give a shit. I hate this fucking product. I just want to show you the setups, and then we can look for ideas. So maybe there's a now sell opportunity in NASDAQ. Maybe there's interesting opportunities in the YM. Right now, Dow looks a little bit more positive. What's interesting? I'm reading that why is NASDAQ weaker? Because Palantir continues to get pounded. Also, obviously, there's a huge risk here coming up this week with NVIDIA earnings. I mean, NVIDIA just really has to be perfect to do this. One of my favorite instruments to trade, I love the NQ. I trade the NASDAQ. I'm kind of warmed up a little bit to the YM, the Dow. I love trading the S&P, but it just, you can't do, the problem with trading. Generally, the way scalping, the rule of scalping is you really only want to trade one product to maximum across your accounts. But here's what we do for those of you guys who are new. Trade gold, learn French. What does that mean? I like French. Je parle français, right? But je déteste l'or. Okay, I fucking hate gold. So one doesn't necessarily move the other. So anyways, yeah, I like trading NQ because it's really like the perfect instrument for the kind of scalping that we do. Tomorrow, by the way, if you come to the webinar, I'm going to explain to you my whole theory of life, why I scalp, why I think it's kind of interesting, and why it's also the single best strategy for futures trading and for prop trading. Precisely because Boris always swears when trading gold. Yes, it's true. I swear. No, it's not true that I always swear when trading gold. I swear especially more when I trade gold. Oh, excuse my French. Oh, is that what you were saying? Oh, no excuse for French. I speak New Yorkese, which is, drops the F-bomb every as a comma. So, I read, by the way, that people who curse a lot have a much higher IQ. So there you go. There's a benefit to it. It's actually proven fact. So you can't hold that against me. I totally lost my train of thought now. Now, John, you made me look like an idiot because I totally lost my train of thought. What the hell was the time? Oh, tomorrow, scalping. Why scalping is so good? Yeah, I think Gloria is actually right. Gloria is one of the better traders in the room. She says the trading gold 6 to 8 is a much smoother proposition. It really is. You certainly can see it in gold. You get like a lot of nice clean moves here in gold into that, into the 6 to 8, like boom, 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 boom. You get some very, very clean ideas. Let's look at NASDAQ, by the way. I want to see this NASDAQ. I'm looking for a sell signal on NASDAQ, anything in the YM, anything to get us going right now. So what's the story with the Dow now? Dow is negative bid and negative red. You see this? It's giving me a Christmas tree trade, right? So we can go back to wealth charts because we trade the Dow on wealth charts right over here on this one, in this account, and I'm watching this. It's a long time to go. We got a minute 21 to go. But if and when this candle closes and it gives us the red dot signal, we're definitely going to go short Dow if it maintains its hold. $54 seconds left. Just watching the Dow. Again, this red dot will tell us that it's a momentum sell signal, and it will give us the green flag to go short. You see how it disappeared? If it disappears, there's no signal. So we're watching to see if the idea here is the sellers need to hold the lows. If the sellers can't hold these lows, there isn't enough selling pressure for us to want to get interested, right? There's like a lot of movement both ways. No interest, and that's why I love the indicator, because it keeps us out of bad trades. Yeah, Palantir is. I haven't even looked at Palantir today. Let's just look at what PLTR stock price. Oh, another 5%. Wow, to 150. Interesting. It's probably going to be an incredible buy. I mean, it's grossly overbought, but that is a company that's got a very bright future. Okay, nothing on YM. Nothing on NASDAQ. And the gold, by the way, that gold trade I didn't have any patience to hold. That worked very, very nicely. Those of you who took that trade and held it did a great job. Now, the difference is, this is what I wanted to show you. The difference is I don't chase any more of these buy trades, right? Like, I know this is a buy signal, this is a buy signal, this is a buy signal. All of these are legitimate buy signals. But if you want to have the absolute easiest, best, high probability sequence, you just take the first in each sequence and then you walk away. Come back half an hour later, look at the charts. First of all, it gives you, I think, a lot more relaxing approach to the market. You're not constantly, you don't have to watch it like a hawk every 5 seconds. You're not like an ADD rattled child. So, you know, you can hold it overnight. You can hold it through the morning session. You're just much more relaxed. You know, you don't have to watch the screen all the time. And secondly, you absolutely do get much higher productivity done, right? So, like right now, even if this gives me a buy signal, it's not really a buy signal for me because this was the buy signal that we took. It was kind of a very sloppy trade, but this was the first signal. This was the Christmas tree signal. That's the first buy sequence in this thing, right? We would need to have a sell sequence, buy sequence. We need to have a sell sequence to give us a next signal, and then a sell sequence, buy sequence to give us a next buy sequence. This paces us out. It spaces us out and paces us out. And that's a good thing. Gold spiking. YM. YM doesn't even know what it wants to do yet. The only moderate exception I would do to this rule is I would say, okay, so these were all buy sequences. Then we had a red slope. We had a sort of a sell-off slope with no sell signals at all. Are we going to get a secondary buy signal here? I wouldn't be averse to taking this because you've had that pause. You've had that red pause. Although the perfect red pause needs to have a red signal inside of it. Since this is Monday, let's find out. Where's my poll? I'm going to end the poll. Everybody thinks there's two cuts. That's interesting. Everybody thought there's going to be 2 cuts on the rate hike. Let's do a poll. I'm just curious. Do you trade prop? Yes or no? I'm actually curious about that. As I said, if you guys trade prop, this is my whole program, our coaching program. 6 months of coaching. You also get 6 months of Kathy's FX coaching. All of that for this price, minus 97, because I refund you 97. So you can go out there and buy Apex accounts. And then a lot of people were asking me, so somebody actually emailed today and said, hey, which program should I get? I'm not sure. I want to trade prop, but I also want to learn fundamentals. The beauty is that I put everything in here, including the fundamentals. You get the whole fundamentals course plus Kathy's coaching, as well as my prop coaching all together. So you can trade your own account and your prop account with his deal, okay? I'm going to put the link in here for anybody who's interested. Here's the link, all right? Go out there, go get it. As we sit here and wait for something to develop. Very, very quiet, cold stuff, quiet markets here. Nico's asked me on gold. I'm just watching. I'm watching the Dow here to see if I get a signal. Okay, so you're asking me on gold. And by the way, I'm always using the large contract for my signals. Don't use the small contract. So Nico is asking me, when does the swing first start regarding your new approach? Where's 314 or 350? Is that my time? Are you talking about my time? This would be, I'm going to mark it on the chart here. This would be the buy. Okay, you had all these sells. This is the first buy signal over here. That's the one we took, actually. That's the one we took. It took a little while. It dicked around for a while, and then it finally, took off. That would be the signal. So, if you're looking for the signal the other way, so here you had a buy signal, and then this was the first sell signal. First sell signal. That's what we would have done. Okay, that's how you would have done gold. Dow, Nas. Buy the red and sell the green on indices. You could. I mean, it's, if you have a chop thesis, which it pretty much is, I mean, you can't really go wrong on a chop thesis, right? That's just, it's a range bound. It's a 510 to 440 thesis. It's just eventually it's going to break and you're going to get rolled over. You can do a million different things. The indicator is really cool. It lets you do lots of different things to how you want to create your structures. But remember what I told you? We talked about this whole idea. Anytime you try something new, you're going to destroy your account, which is, by the way, a very good reason for why it's such a good idea to get Apex, because Apex makes their trading accounts incredibly cheap. Like 30, I just got another 50,000 for 30 bucks today, or 35 bucks, whatever the fuck it was. The point being is that when you are doing something new, you need a new account to experiment, because exploration is very much part of any new strategy you do. Even if you think you have, I have this cool strategy, I know exactly what I'm doing. You never know exactly what you're doing until you do it about 100 times, right? That's why, look, I've been trading the Dow strategy forever, and I keep refining it more and more as I get into it, as I see more and more nuances within the strategy. So the way to sort of understand how to succeed in strategies is by testing them in real-time markets. That's where you see the nuances. That's where you see the interesting, twists of fate and quirks over here that help you refine it to a point where you're really going to be in great shape. Literally no signal. There's literally no signals at all, but there's certainly no signals on our structure here. However, be patient, because the Dow at least is setting up from a buy regime to a sell regime. So now we just need a sell signal in the Dow to be able to do something with it. Yes, and that's not only is that normal, but it's actually, it would be abnormal if that didn't happen to you. But that's why trading prop is so good, because you can have multiple accounts, multiple ideas, learn lots of different techniques, and then refine them into a really, really good working strategy for the account. I think the rule of thumb, honestly, with prop trading is you lose 3 for every one you fund. If you're in that structure, you're doing really well. I mean, I'm actually curious. Ali, would you agree with me? Oh, we're getting a sell signal. Finally, look at this big reversal in this. What do we got? 10 o'clock. No news. I just think it's the 10 o'clock reversal. This is a Dow. Went 617, 37 points of reversal. Minute 12 on the clock. So we're going to go over here And as long as the red dot stays, we're going to try and see if we can get into this trade. I don't think I'm going to get cute here. I'm literally going to sell market here. On this Dow trade, because it's good. This looks like one of these flush moves that you really can't get cute on trying to buy on the bid, sell on the ask. $33 seconds left on the Dow. John says it's a 2 to 3 for him. I'm actually curious. Other guys chime in the room. Let me know what you guys think. 10 seconds left on the clock. 9 seconds left on the clock. We're going to wait till this thing closes before I come in. 3, 2, 1, sell. All right, we're short on this thing. We're in 63. We're looking to get to 73. No, 53. Sorry, 53. And we're done. You see how fast that was? Boom, boom. Why was this a good trade? This was a good trade for the reason I'm trying to tell you, which is that this was the first sell signal in the shift regime. It was a buy regime. Now it's a sell regime, right? We took the first signal. It was a big volatility move, but it was fast. And when you're getting these massive ass candles, you can't get cute. You can't get, oh, I want to be bid, I want to be offer. You just go market and let the market take you down. So Dow trade done. Gold trade was done. NASDAQ trade was done in a very, very ugly fashion, but it was done. Oh, shoot. Look at this, guys. So I'm sorry. I missed this because we were in the Dow trade. But this would have been a very legitimate trade. So what you have is a buy signal and you have a sell signal, right? Which is the Christmas tree signal to the short side. So therefore, the next shift here would have been a totally legitimate buy signal. I would have totally taken this as a trade. Now we're back in NASDAQ, seeing what that's doing. So the Dow gave us a regime shift sell signal. NASDAQ is doing nothing. It's just, it's very quiet. Ali, how are you doing on your 52,000 account? Are you close to funding or are you still waiting for the setup? So remember I said to you, we had a red sell-off here, but no red signal, and then back to a buy shift. So I would be okay with, let's see if I can get this correctly done here. As long as this buy signal stays in place, I'd be okay with trying to take this trade because it was a change of shift here from red to green. We're also going from positive trend to uptrend, which is nice. Let's see if this signal is legit. $47 seconds left. I'm just watching the trade. You mean on wall charts, Eddie? It's true. It could happen. I mean, it's a good setup. It's basically a pure momentum setup. The green triangle, it's the same thing as the buy, not always the same, but close to the buy label that we have over here. They're all all very, very good momentum setups. This is just momentum setup refined. All right, I'm in the trade. 45.75 is my target. $45.75 is my target. Yeah. There we go. Come on. Oh, it was 4. There we go. Finally lifted. Okay, that trade got done, right? Now, just kind of show you this is my funded account. So I'm trading. This is like the real account that I'm trading. That account was 25,195 this morning. And all I did was all I'm doing is just these kind of, hey, let me do a trade every half an hour. I'm $200 up on a $20 bets. I'm making tiny little trades here on $20 bets. And that's the power of spacing and pacing. That's the key thing that I kind of wanted to show you. Instead of just, hitting every single buy trade there is and being a total dopamine junkie. I told you I'm reading this book on dopamine. It's been completely transformative. It made me understand everything that we do in life and in trading so much clearer. And the more you understand how to control your addiction, because it is an addiction, like everything else in life, we exist to be addicted. The key thing is to have enough control to optimize your goals without becoming slaves to them. Become slaves to your addiction. This is one of those ways that it's really, really helped me by spacing and pacing. I'll talk much more about this as the week goes by. I'll talk a lot about this in Marathon, where I'm going to really lay down all the latest biochemistry and make you understand why every single thing that people teach you is complete bullshit. That there's no such thing as discipline. There's no such thing as self-control. There's no such thing as taking setups. You exist as a rat in a maze. The faster you accept that, the better you're going to understand how to succeed in that maze of life really well. May says she bought it and she's loving it. It's really, really cool. It's really, really, it explains so much about I'm like obsessed finding more neurobiology books and trying to understand how we work. But if you're coming in from a trading perspective, you're like, oh my God, you start to understand everything that you do right and everything that you do wrong from that perspective. So anyways, that's kind of like, my takeaway over the weekend that I think is a great strategic takeaway, but also a great tactical one for those of you guys who want to do well. Where's Ali? Ali's been super quiet. I guess Ali's trading, or maybe he went away. All right, who's new in the room, guys? Come on. I know there's a whole bunch of people that just joined us from all over the place. Come say hello to me. Tell me where you're from. Tell me what you're doing with yourselves. We killed everything. We killed the Dow right over here. We killed this trade in the Dow. We killed the gold, which was over here. Boom, boom, right over here. And we killed multiple examples of NASDAQ, right over here. Here I can, if you want me to show you all the sloppiness, here's all the trades. Boom, 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 boom. And these are all my trades. You can see me just literally pacing it. I'm just pacing it on every slice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Zero stress. Zero fucking stress on this because it's basically a trade every half an hour. I go have a cup of coffee. I'm running the dogs. I'm doing this. Oh, set up. Great. Boom. Take it. And it just, it was so easy to be able to bank the 5 points every time because you are at that perfect intersection of momentum and trend to be able to take advantage of the move pretty much all the time. Now, it's not like it works all the time, again, but it has been about, it goes from let's say 5 out of 6 to literally 8 out of 9. That's how many, how good the frequency is on this in terms of structure. I think if you were looking on the whole day today and you were subdivide the NASDAQ signals, there was probably about already 20 signals and there was only 2 of them that were false. Okay, polyvagal theory. Okay, sounds good. I'll take a look at it. Arco from London, how are you, my friend? What are you trading these days? Have you ever traded U.S. stock index futures? Can I introduce you to the single most intoxicating financial product in the world? Where you can literally make $500 in a minute, but also lose it that well. Okay. You missed the YM? Well, we did the YM a couple of minutes back. Right now, YM is in a deep sell move. Now, okay, so let's say you missed the first YM, which was my target here. Could you take the second one? Yeah, it's not horrible. It's not. I think the 1 or 2 of the cycle. Because look at this. This is the cycle. This is what I'm trying to tell you. Slope is the start of the cycle. The sell signal is obviously the first sell signal off the move, right? So, and this is the second. When you have, remember I said to you, when we have half hour's worth of movement, we're guaranteed to make money. Now, double that guarantee by saying if I have half an hour's worth of movement one way or the other, in the first 5-10 minutes, I'm super guaranteed to make that money. The only thing that will blow up my setup, is volatility. If I, let's say I sold this and it was just a massive spike and then eventually, it stopped me out and came back down. That's the only bad thing that can happen to me, and that's part of the game. You just have to accept it. Oh, that's another thing. It's another really, really cool thing I read in the book, which is super, super interesting. So the pain and pleasure circuits in the brain are literally the same. Literally the same. It's the same circuit, right? Same dopamine circuit. But that's not the interesting part. The interesting part is, how over the recent years, medicine has really, really focused on minimizing patient pain. Put your baby, you got to take every little, endorphin and what do you call it? I forgot, non-oxytocin, whatever, all the pain relievers that the whole opioid family of pain relievers to essentially help you, manage pain. Now, obviously, that part of it creates lots and lots of addiction and so on and so forth. But that's not the point that's interesting. The point that's interesting is even if you're in surgery and they give you lots and lots of pain relief in surgery, your recovery time is actually longer, right? That doesn't mean that you do full surgery without anesthesia, but it means that some pain actually is beneficial to your body. Your body actually uses pain as a neuroregenerative input to help you heal faster. So what does all this shit mean to us as far as traders? It means that taking a stop, why do we hate taking stops? We hate taking stops because we want to avoid pain at all costs. That's the reason we hate taking stops. We hate the pain. But if you don't have a stop during the day, you're actually going to be a worse trader because you're never going to be able to recover from your losses because you're going to become too soft. Like our whole society has become too soft as a result of all of this, right? It's really, really fascinating. Nature has a lot of duality built into it because we have become so advanced in civilization, and because our whole, focus of civilization is to just diminish any lack of resources and diminish any lack of pain in order to make our life completely pleasant. We are creating self-defeating systems in how we perform. And as traders, we do this all the time, right? We had this conversation. I was shocked. We had this conversation the other day at how many people pull their stops. That they hate the idea of being stopped out so much that they move the stops, which is like, even I stopped doing that like 20 years ago or 10 years ago at least. But I was shocked at how many people do that. That is the stupidest thing in the world. Take the stop. The stop is if you go a whole day without a stop, you're a loser. You're going to get softer. You think you're winning every day. No, you're setting yourself up for the big loss. That's the interesting part from learning about how nature operates, both on a physiological level and obviously on a psychological one, which I thought was really, really fascinating. Jim Tang is asking me, how do you adjust the wealth charts to a smaller amount? Let's go to wealth charts. So here's the amounts. Now you were like, I'm trading the big contract here, right? I'm trading the big contract. So what you're asking me is, how do you trade the small contract? The small contract, Jim, is always with the letter M as the first letter. So it's MGCZ, okay? And then this will give you the micro. Now I'm trading the 1/10 contract, right? So now the size is 1/10 my size. And you can rise, bring it up or bring it down. Now if I trade it back up to GCZ, that's my regular contract. So always the small contract is with the M. Yeah, Wall-E is totally real. Holy shit. I mean, literally, probably the most accurate movie of our life, which is, anybody who hasn't watched Wall-E is No, that was a great question, wasn't it? I mean, wasn't it you, Nico, who started off that conversation? That was a great conversation. What's the name of the book, Kevin? It's called The More Molecule. Let me find it for you. Amazon. The More Molecule. No, The Molecule of More. Sorry, shit. This is the book, right? And let me give you the, I'm going to just put the link in here. Okay, sell zone in the YM, buy zone in the Dow. We killed both of those. Gold is in deep buy zone. We got nothing to do, so we're just chilling. Or at least nothing to do under my new conditions where I'm only doing, phase transitions and I'm not chasing every single trade. Kevin, you got the link? All right. I'm going to put my I screwed this up. Two things. The Apex discount, make sure you take it because it's going to go away in a day and it's going to be a lot more expensive. The whole idea, the reason why I'm able to do all this is because I go through, if I have a problem with one account, I go just to the next one. Next, right? Unlike real life, it's really, really good to be a serial philanderer when it comes to trading. There's zero fidelity. If one account is not working, go to the next one, trade the strategy in the next one, trade a different instrument in the next one. It's one of the key things that we teach in coaching, which is why so many people do well. It also does the single most important thing of why people go off tilt. Who knows what the word tilt means? Tell me what the word tilt means. Anybody know? It's a very, very common word they use in poker and in trading. Oracle, I start trading every day at 9 New York, except for Wednesdays when we do marathon, and then we do 8 o'clock in the morning. The pinball machine? Yeah, no. Tilt in trading and in poker means going off the edge, losing your account in a furious, basically throwing your money away. I don't even know how to explain it. You know, like where you just lose control over your strategy and you just like randomly start to try buy and sell, hoping to recover, or randomly start to bet in poker, hoping to recover your pot. Right? It's basically what everybody does. Everybody tilts. You know, it is literally everybody has burnt their account to the ground when they've gotten pissed off at something that happens in the market, and they start fighting the market. Revenge trading, correct? Right. So everybody does this, okay? But the point is that when you switch accounts, the single best, most important psychological aspect of it is that you stop from tilting, because now you're no longer emotionally invested in that losing account, and you have a fresh account which you can approach back with rationality and reason, right? I know a lot of guys have started doing this because I've recommended doing this, and feel free to check. Just type in, tell everybody how that's really improved your trading, because I know you guys have told me. So I think that's really, really cool. All right, gold switching from buy to possible sell mode. Let's see what gold wants to do for me. I'm just waiting for a possible sell setup, because you see, went from a green slope to a red slope. Now, is this if I am a perfect human being and I really only want to trade the absolute best setups, I wouldn't even look at this shit, because the only thing I'm interested in is only buy signals in an uptrend. I don't give a shit about sell signals in an uptrend, right? The big trend is the uptrend. That's what I should be focusing on, right? See the sell signals in a downtrend, they always work. You see the buy signals in an uptrend, they work. That's all you need to do. But I like to trade counter trend, because that's my Achilles heel. But at least if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that in an intelligent fashion. Also, I like to do counter trend because you guys want to see more trades, and I want to show you more trades. But yeah, like right now, there's nothing to do in YM until it comes back up to green and then reestablishes red. There's nothing to do in NASDAQ. See, okay, so this is a good example why you actually should not trade counter trend trades, right? This was I could have taken this trade. This was a Christmas tree sell trade in NASDAQ, right? It's a counter trend trade, kind of dumb. Probably would have lost me money. Let's see, I would have been in at 33. My stop would have been 48. I would have almost been stopped out. Right? It's kind of dumb trade. Counter trend trading is always really dumb. But, if you're going to do it, indulge in a small fashion. Like I'm always trading half my size. When I'm doing counter trend trades, I'm doing half my normal size. When I'm doing trend trades, I'm doing, regular size. And that's a key difference. But like now, I'm really glad I missed this fucking trade, because this would have been a total waste of my time, right? Why do you do counter trend trading? Only because you want more. That's, by the way, very much a function of your dopamine circuit. Your dopamine is there to optimize resources. So anytime it sees even a half decent resource, let me go for that bone. Never mind that the bone really doesn't have a lot of meat on it. But, I want to go for it because there's at least some meat on it. Instead of just waiting quietly for the juiciest, best, most succulent bone there is, which is the trend trades. Yeah, it was a shift. No, it's legit. It's a legit bullshit trade as opposed to being a legit trade, right? The legit trade would be a shift with a trend direction. So in other words, if I get a buy signal here and we're obviously in an uptrend, That's a legit trade. But this is a legit bullshit trade because it's a counter trend trade, right? So that's the ultimate nuance. That's the ultimate filter that you want to do. Okay, same thing in gold, right? This is a legit, we have a positive trend. This is a counter trend trade that didn't work, but this is a trend trade this is a buy signal in a trend trade off of a shift, absolutely legit. Now, I have a sell signal. It's a counter trend trade. Do we take this? We could, but if you're going to do it, you should really do it at small size. The only thing I'll say is that gold is one of those instruments where it's perfect. Like, it's not like it's such a beautifully, like NASDAQ, YM, they're much more trend oriented instruments. This one, it can go both ways. So you could, you probably could take this trade without much despair if it gives you a sell signal. NASDAQ is kind of quiet. NASDAQ's giving you a sell signal again. So now if it's going to give me a sell signal, only because it's like the second sell signal in a shift mode, if it does, I'll do like a small position on it. So who's been using like multiple accounts? Raise your hand. Tell me. Come on. Share this with everybody. Ow. Peter, Ben. Very nice. Hi, guys. I see a lot of new people in the room. Welcome to the wonderful world of future scalping. NASDAQ, Christmas tree buy in an uptrend, $151 on the clock. This could be a trade if it stays. If it stays around, it's a legit trade. Eddie, I am close to a couple, and I'm working so many of them right now. And my whole attitude with like on the funded is I'm going to do very, very slow. I'm going to do tiny little. I'm just going to run. It may take me a month or two to really work it to full payout basis because I still have a couple of evals that I wanted to do with you guys, and because I'm doing so much different stuff right now, because Kathy is driving me the fuck crazy with all sorts of other stuff and doesn't let me trade. I just decided, we're going to peace out. We're not going to chase payouts right away. We're going to just trade them small and get payouts when they come. If I have to wait till October, so be it. I'm actually trading my own account a lot too, using all these techniques to trade my own account, which is a lot of fun. Yes. Cheryl says multiple accounts. It worked, right? It helps, right, Cheryl? So I kind of missed, we had a sell. Remember I said to you, gold is the one where the sell signal actually, where you could do counter trend trades are actually okay. I think that's probably true. Counter trend trade in the Dow, right? 16 seconds left. Let's have some fun with a Dow. Where am I on the Dow here? Here's the Dow. Do I have a signal? 8 seconds left. Where am I? 29. Buy market. All right, we're in the Dow. It's a counter trend trade. But, I got nothing else to do with you guys, so I'm taking it. Because at least it's a legitimate, trend shift trade. Although I'm probably going to eat it right now because, again, I took a counter trend trade, which is a less likely probability trade than, yeah, look at that. Look at this shift. 98 is my stop. 38 is my target. Let's see if it wants to hang. Uh, it's a 10:30 stop, Jay. It looks like I'm going to eat it. We'll see. So this is a Christmas tree trade. Counter trend shift to the upside. I took it at 28.38 is my target, right? 38 is my target. Is my target 38? Yeah, 28.38 is my target. And we're dicking around here. Let's see if it holds. Oh, I'm probably going to get stopped. On the other hand, if I have a buy signal on NASDAQ, should be legit, legit trade here, because this is with trend, and I would get a buy signal here. Yeah, I'm stopped out on the YM. I took one for the team because we haven't had a trade in a long time. But it was, as I told you, it wasn't a good trade, not a trend trade. Let's take a look at look at the Dow, totally running up against me after it stops me. Just literally clips me out of it and then comes back up. So NASDAQ, there was a green trend trade shift. Then there was a little bit of red shift. Now we're looking for a buy signal on the green shift. And we're only going to take it when and if it comes. Yes, in ticks. In the Dow, the ticks and points are the same thing. It's the only instrument where the ticks and points are the same thing. Could be, or just there is really very little direction here today, right? We're kind of like, I think everybody's in a wait and see mode until Nvidia on Wednesday. So not a lot of. We're 10 basis points up, 10 basis points down all day long. All right, I'm going to show you guys. What if I could do this? I'm going to show this to you. This is the rule set. So as I said, if you guys want this, tomorrow I'll create a little link, and you can just totally sign up, and it will automatically email you this the rule set. And this is the version that shows you the actual setups on the charts, so you can actually see them. So hopefully this will be helpful to a lot of people who are new. And then let me see if I could go this, remove to the stage. Now back to trading. Okay. Now I'm just waiting to see if I have any directionality here. Yes, Jay is saying if you're in coaching, can you get that automatically? Yes. Another reason to join the coaching, because I'll send this to everybody in coaching today. Yes. Oh. How long can you let the prep account? You can let it. It doesn't. They don't. Okay, we got a buy signal in Nasdaq here. They don't care on the future side because futures are a little different. They it's a monthly subscription fee, right? So you buy it, and then they'll renew it. The good thing about it is they renew it at the monthly fee that you've at the big discount fee. So it's not like the next month they don't charge you the 100%; they charge you the 80% off that you sign up for, which is a huge difference. So let's say you trade it, you blow it, you can wait for the next month to come up, and then you get a fresh new account at that low fee. All right, I'm focusing on MNQs here. It's got to be above, where am I? 57. Okay, so if we close anywhere above 57, that's a legit trade. 16, 17 seconds left, 15 left. Eight, 9. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, and did I miss it? I was just trying to be cute here. Let's see. Do I get the trade? Yes, I'm in the trade. 69.75 is my target. Just look at the gold for a second. Gold might be setting up also, so that's why gold is in positive bid. I'm just looking to see if I can get a buy signal in gold. Looks like the Nasdaq not working. Yeah, it may have been the one signal today that, or second signal today that did not work, but we'll see. Yeah, I'm very close to getting stopped. So this breakout kind of died out, which is, like that's to be expected, as I said, in terms of how much of a frequency there was. We hit almost every single legit trade today. This would be the first legit trade that we did not hit. We got stopped on a few illegitimate trades, but that's par for the course. But if this doesn't work, it'll be the first one that doesn't work, and it's fine. It's you don't expect all of them to work. So fine. Nasdaq died on this breakout trade. Since I'm trading again, I'm trading very, very small. I can come back and recover on this trade very quickly once I get a good legitimate next cycle going. I'm looking at the YM. YM is actually YM. Sorry guys, I missed this trade. I hesitated for a second. YM was a legit sell trade right over here. right over here. We could have sold it right over here. This would have totally done for us, because went from a green shift to a red shift right over here. Could have taken this trade. If you guys were watching YM while I was kind of putzing around, you would have been good to go. You'd have been in this trade. You would have made nice money on it. So totally done. Mark is in the YM. Nice, good. Still trying to see if gold is going to give me a buy signal yet or not. Oh, guys, I got to run. I wish I could hang with you more. I'm just hoping we get like another good trade out here. But anyways, I hope you guys had fun. As I said, I'm gonna get this the rule set organized for everybody, so you can get this as a PDF download or as an HTML file tomorrow, regular time, 9 o'clock starting trade time, and then Wednesday we did a full marathon. Okay. They don't have the buy and sells are not available on the wall charts. We haven't updated that indicator yet. Yep. Yeah, we haven't updated that indicator yet. Oh yeah. Well, I guess you know, a year is like a lifetime in futures trading, so I don't even think about it. But yeah, you could let it lay dormant for a few days for sure. All right, last link to my coaching, just right over here. Go out there, go get it if you want it. All of that is going to be coming to you, of course, as part of your coaching. So hopefully you'll get all the tools and everything else that's working for you. Okay, guys, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful day. Thank you. So much fun hanging out with you today. Did pretty good trades, and most importantly, I really hopefully instilled in you the value of space and pace, of like spacing the trades so that you can continue growing the account every single day. Thank you so much. Everybody have a great day. I'll see you guys tomorrow.